Hi there, Nate Urandi, Orion Training Systems. About to head out for a hike slash run up in the mountains. Feels like the thing to do today. It's after Labor Day, and typically things get into full swing with training here as I look to next season. And I would be actively prepping. I would look at this past season and in the past training logs, whatever, what worked, what didn't, what adjustments can I make, what really worked well this year, and so forth. And then put the plan in place and start executing that plan. And lots of structure and so forth, so that I can come out of the gates swinging, as the saying goes, come March when the road season starts again. But a funny thing happened, and I've talked about this recently, in that my season was cut short by about 6 weeks, or I decided to cut my season short this week by about 6 weeks before I even got to my key races, due to a perfect storm of things. There were a couple of business trips that took me out of the country for extended periods. We moved, my son started college, and it just made sense. And so rather than trying to fit the proverbial square peg through the round hole, I just pulled the plug. And it felt great. A surprising reaction. I thought it would be very tumultuous and require a lot of emotional turmoil, but it was actually quite easy. And that got me rethinking about, while I've enjoyed the process of self-betterment through training, I had lost sight of, or lost connection with, true enjoyment of just being out there and being active. And so yesterday, for example, I rode a couple of hours, and it was the second time on my bike since pulling the plug more than 2 months ago. And I went up my favorite climb in Boulder, Flagstaff Mountain, and I found myself having to continually fight the urge to put my nose on the handlebar stem and just grind it out, and instead taking the gorgeous surroundings of the mountains and the trees and any wildlife that was out and about, such as deer and foxes and things that I normally would not be tuning into, because I'd be looking down at the stem, the road right in front of me, my watts, my heart rate, you name it. And instead, anytime I found myself starting to do that, I just picked myself up, settled in, and just enjoyed it. And it's still a very hard climb. By no means is it fun, but the enjoyment was absolutely there, and I didn't care about the actual outcome of how fast I went or what my average watts was or what I got out of it. And so it was very much more fulfilling. And athletes, as a body of people, are afraid to let go like that. Doesn't mean we don't at times, or it doesn't mean a certain group don't regularly do that, but on average, athletes don't let go. And this is myself included, we're afraid that by letting go, by not following the structure, by just being active, by just moving, that we are somehow degrading the experience of that particular workout or that particular session. And that by doing so, instead of progressing in fitness, we're somehow letting it leach away and becoming a lesser version of ourselves. And maybe to a degree that happens if you let go of the structure for an extended period of time, maybe, depending on what you do. Like if you're a couch potato, of course. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm not saying don't train, don't exercise, don't work out. I'm saying we can probably do a much better job of relaxing the reins without degrading the fitness gains to a material degree. And so when we do decide to insert the structure, it's probably a very quick ramp up to get on par with where we would have been anyways, yet we've allowed ourselves to be more emotionally and mentally fresh when it becomes time to turn the screws, because we've relaxed at this point in time. So I'm going to give that a whirl this off season, go in the completely opposite direction in terms of structure, and see what happens. Maybe it'll be a complete failure, but I don't know that that'll be the case. And if I get more enjoyment out of movement because of it, then regardless of the results, it'll actually be a success. So I'll leave you with that. Think about it, apply it to your own progress, your own structure, your own training plan, and see where it takes you. As always, happy training.